Time for my annual NFL playoff predictions here. In a little bit, I'm going to tell you about a game I can't wait for on the NFC. I really hope it happens on the NFC side. But let's start with the AFC first. Well, we've got two matchups in the wild card around Bengals versus Steelers. Here is the job of the Cincinnati Bengals, to lose in the playoffs. They will dutifully do that job and exit. Now, am I saying that they're definitely going to exit against the Steelers? No, actually. Because you want to talk about a wild card? I've never seen a wild card as much as the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they could win any game by 38 points. They could clown any game away. So, yeah, they might beat the Bengals, who don't have Andy Dalton back yet, 48-10. Or they may go, oh, my God, how did we lose this game 18-17? How the hell did that happen? So Steelers could go all the way, or they could lose to the Bengals. But the Bengals will do their duty. In the next round, they will definitely lose, because that's what the Bengals do. Okay, now you go to the least interesting playoff game perhaps in American history. That's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans will do their duty as well, and they will be dismissed immediately out of the playoffs. They have no chance of beating the Chiefs. They should move on with their lives. Okay? So clean up, go home, Texans. Now, Kansas City I'm going to come back to in a second, because they're a very interesting team. Now, when we move to this next round, well, New England, yes, decimated by injuries, right? A lot of the receivers obviously have a lot of issues, but they're still New England, so they are still the most likely to go to the Super Bowl. Now, you go to Denver, well, it depends, massively, depending on who their quarterback is. If they have the young, untested Brock Osweiler, they stand a much better chance. In fact, as a Steelers fan, I'd be afraid to play them if it's Osweiler, and I would say that they stand a pretty good chance of making it all the way to the Super Bowl, given how many people are hurt on the Patriots, the Bengals, etc., if it's Osweiler. If it's Peyton Manning, yummy for my tummy. Oh, if the Steelers dismiss the Bengals as they should, and they go on to at some point play Denver, and they would play them immediately because they would be the lowest seed, and Peyton Manning's in playoffs. Playoffs? Peyton Manning? Off you go. Can we finally just have the Pittsburgh Patriots playoff game we've been waiting for about a decade? Given the injuries that the Steelers have at running back and the Patriots have at wide receiver, let alone other positions, I'm not sure it's those Patriots and those Steelers, but at least it'd be the Patriots and the Steelers in the playoffs. That would be wonderful. That would be good for all football fans. Now, a team that could spoil all this is the Chiefs. They're another big wild card. They could beat anybody. They could lose to anybody. Can they beat Peyton Manning in the playoffs? Look, can the Patriots lose? Well, how many star players are you going to miss before you lose? The answer might be they're at their limit. We don't know yet. So, obviously, the NFC side is interesting. By the way, if Kansas City makes it to the Super Bowl, they will be crushed by anyone from the NFC. The only one that I think has a legitimate chance of winning is, as usual, the Patriots. Could the Steelers win just because they could beat anybody? Yes, right? Could an Osweiler-led Broncos team have a chance? No. Only the Steelers or the Patriots. Okay, now we go over to the AFC. So, Redskins versus Green Bay. Now, the Redskins are going to get annihilated at some point in the playoffs, but it's probably not in the first round. I don't know who wins that. I think it's a really tight game because the Packers are unusually clownish. They're actually a much worse team than they appear, and, you know, the back half of the season has been a disaster for them. The Redskins are very talented, but they are very poorly coached, and they're a bunch of clowns. So now Minnesota versus Seattle. I think that's a great game. Okay, that's the game in the first round, and Seattle's favored by almost a touchdown. Wrong! Minnesota. Seattle's overrated. Minnesota's underrated. I think Minnesota wins that game. I think Minnesota's dangerous. Now, the game I'm looking forward to. It doesn't matter if it's the Panthers or the Cardinals, you know, and it depends on whether Minnesota or Seattle wins. If the Redskins beat the Packers and they go on to play one of those two teams, the Panthers or the Cardinals, it's spinal fluid drinking time. Either one of those teams is going to break the Redskins' back and be like, yummy for my tummy, spinal fluid. That doesn't look good. They're going to say, I was wondering what would break first, your body or your spirit? They're going to beat them by at least 30 points. The Redskins are not a playoff team. The Panthers and the Cardinals are. So the Vikings might beat one of those guys, but your overwhelming favorite to win the Super Bowl are the Panthers and the Cardinals. I bet on the Cardinals months before the season began. The minute I could bet on them to win the Super Bowl, I bet on them. So obviously, I think the Cardinals are going to win it all. I think the Panthers are a fantastic team. I think the Cardinals are better. Okay, and yes, there's some 10%, 20% chance that the Steelers or the Patriots steal one in the Super Bowl. But overall, if you're looking for your next Super Bowl champion, it is overwhelmingly likely to be either the Panthers or the Cardinals, and I'm going with the Cardinals. So it must be true.